Supervision formula for people manager. This is what we will be discussing today in today's slide altogether. We understand what is supervisions and how do we proceed with it. So the formula is very easy. Have given you the abbreviations of the word called supervision, and that is the reason why it has been there in caps. S stands for specific, U for understanding, P for patience, E for empower, R for either of reward or recognitions, the way you want to go around it. Reward being monetary or materialistic or extrinsic. Recognition will be non-monetary or non-materialistic or intrinsic. V is the value, I for ignore, S for supportive, I for inspire, O for open-minded, and N for neutral. So supervision is what we are talking about it. There should be specific understanding of the objectives. They should have patience and empower their team members. They should accordingly rewards or recognize whatever they value it, and probably ignore the faults of their co-workers, team members, and be extend a supportive hand, because this is the only way they can have and they can motivate them or inspire them, and keep open-minded, be flexible and be neutral, don't have a biasness to for anyone. So yes, a supervisors plays multiple amount of role, and this is what we have been adapted from in the 2010 published by Cengage, the book that is mentioned out here. Here, the supervisory roles and responsibilities are of that of trainer, the planner, the scheduler, the motivators. This is one aspect of the execution type of supervision. What about the other exit? It is where it is ongoing process throughout 24/7. A person works around as a supervisor, as a coach, as a controller, as a leader, as a recruiter, looking for people every now and then. So they have plentiful of roles as a trainer, as a coach, as a planner, or should I say a controller, as a scheduler or a leader, as a motivator or a recruiter, as the case might be. Now, people would see, tell me what essentially would be the skills. The skills are plentiful. If the role that they play are plentiful, similarly they should display a list of host of skills, should I say, so that they can play the n numbers of roles that they keep on playing about it, putting upon the hats one at a time. So they should be efficient in their communication, efficient in building political skills. They should be entrepreneurial, thinking out of box and coming up with creative solutions to the problems. They should be involved in delegating skills and empowering and training their co-workers and the subordinates. As the decision making skills are to be enhanced in case if it is a routine decision, but in case if this is a non-routine decision, the supervisor has to put in his knowledge or her knowledge, his experience or her experiences, and probably come up with certain concrete decision skills. Yes, they should be very tech savvy. They should be technically qualified. They should be conversant with anything called computers or technical. They should be emotionally aware. They should be invested in their followers. They should be aware of what their upbringing is all about. It. They should be aware of what the environment is looking at, and overall objectives of the organization should never be overlooked. So yes, we have team building. Yes, we have leadership skills and the administrative skills, and yes, we should go by the time management skill thereby. This is exactly what we are looking for it. Essentially, essentially, there are three basic types of responsibility. One, which is related to the supervisee, as in their juniors or their subordinates. Then, as in related with the supervisors, as for their roles, responsibilities, and definitely need coordination with horizontally on a different scale with other supervisors. So yes, with their subordinates, with themselves, and with their management or the bosses or the superordinates. So they are the three responsibilities that they don't need to look after it for their subordinates, for themselves, and the management, the top authority that comes around it. So you need to tell what exactly role that you people play around here. This is what we need to understand. So we have the basic rules, the responsibilities of supervisor that comes around it. Number one is to guide whatever has been mentioned out here, to coach. Very apologies for the spelling mistakes out here which has been given. GUID, it should be about the guide, to coach, to lead, to develop, to mentor, to assist, to control, and last but not the least is all about going everything at one time and not one at a time. So you need to guide, you need to control, you need to coach, you need to do everything at a regular place at one instant. So that is the that many number of hats that the supervisor has to fill in as on when on basis. What else can be there? It is to motivate, to analyze performances. We need to appraise about our subordinates, to train them, to share them, to have fun, ensuring that the workplace is not a stressful place. Workplace can be a happy place. That is what we are looking into it. And at the same time, creating a happy place doesn't mean that you are going to compromise on your organizational objective. So have opportunities for learning, for growing, for developing skills, acquiring knowledge, and keeping a tight schedule or tight watch on what exactly is happening within the team. So, as with the related with the supervisors, what will happen around to provide information with their compatriots, to suggest for decisions as on when on basis what has been happening. And in fact, if you are not able to suggest decision, you should always keep everybody in the loop as what exactly will be coming across, because this will ensure a sense of confidence. This will ensure a sense of camaraderie during implementation. In case the status quo has been mentioned, let everybody know around it, because come what may, the outcomes I'm talking about it, people will be aware of why the outcome was in a particular fashion. The outcome can be positive and negative. Either way, you will not be blamed. As a supervisor, you need to ensure such thing. With operations, what you are going around it, remember the organizational productivity targets should never be compromised. You should always see the man hours and the machine hours are at parity. They should not be in excess, or the ratio should not grow haywire altogether. Ensure that the machines are serviced properly and the maintenance things have been taken care of on a regular basis. So there has to be a bridge between employee the grievances, if I may say so, and the management, the things to do that the management is trying to implement. So having a bridge and probably ensuring that one understand the other things, others' point of view. So ensure an optimum utilization of resources, resources of money, material, man hours, machine hours. We are talking about raw materials as such. We are talking about finances. We are talking about time. Every resources, whatever comes your way, as a supervisor, you should ensure that nobody is being exploited, and at the same time, everything is being utilized at an optimum scale. So yes, we are talking about cost effectiveness, as I said about the resources. You should always be pertinent with what is happening in your environment, as in the competitor strategy, as in what is happening as on when on basis, with the advent of the new technology, new processes that comes in your industry, to develop and suggest management accordingly about certain strategic plans, in case if it is an adoption of technology, in case if it is an the way of scheduling altogether or manpower planning, what needs to be done. You should keep the management in the loop, sensitize the requirement of the company as on when on basis, and that is what we should be going around it. So let us have the common function of supervisors, as the case might be. Let us go about it, if we may say so. We have to receive the information. Yes, we need to have analyzing the information, whatever data that comes around it. Always keep on storing it, keep on. In fact, I would say not storing, but also segregating it, because this helps you in analyzing. This help you is in coming or forming up an opinion as what to do and what not to do. We'll talk about monitoring. We will be talking about motivating, as the case might be, and appraising thereby. So this is what we are looking about, the most common function of the supervisor, as the case might be: receiving information, analyzing information, delegating, monitoring, motivating, and appraising. But never ever leave the thought of not keeping a mentoring aspect, because as a supervisor you should always groom talent for a higher cadence, for the next supervisor, for the next manager, for the next director. So supervisory formula is very simple. It is all about S plus E into R plus V into I plus C into E is what the followers that will be walking through the fire for you. It is what service is talking around it. What do? We need to share our knowledge. S stands for sharing our knowledge. E for your experiences that comes out, because experience will enable you, empower you. The experiences will eliminate fear. So share the knowledge plus experience fears with the rewarding good for performances. So you can eliminate fear only with the help of rewarding it. And so monetize it. Probably, yes, that is what we are going around it. Now visualize the future. Now you have to add visualizing the future as to what exactly will happen at the end of the day of achieving the goals. So where does it benefit? And how does one get advantages of it? So in wives and angels advocate, give confidence to them. Give confidence to them that the future is going to be bright and you are going to be a part of that particular bright future. In case as a supervisor you falter because of your daily interaction, there's a saying says too much of familiarity breeds contempt per se. So probably this is a time when you can bring your superordinate, your bosses, or somebody from the expert in the industry or in the company where everybody look up to him or her as in awe with deep respect. So invite the angels advocate, and C is to create learning from everything as the case might be. This is what we are looking forward, and thereby always be humble as it doesn't change. Times and tides wait for no one. Good days will come, bad days will come, but once they come, they will automatically flow away also, as the case might be. So, characteristics of a good supervisor is to have a vision which is very clear, which is understandable, the capability to articulate a vision, and environmental sensitivity, as the case might be. The vision, the supervisor should not only see the vision, probably has to transfer that knowledge, that vision into their followers, because then only they can be able to communicate and probably able to relate to it. Once every individual, every co-workers, every employee has understood the vision, the way it has been articulated, communicated to them, it will make an environment which is conducive to the achievement of the vision thereby. Now, with the come of self-confidence, the supervisor should be an epitome of self-confidence. They should let their conviction about the vision speak about it. They should display character behaviors in such a fashion that people will get convinced automatically. Extraordinary personality, yes, supervisor has to have. They need to influence and probably lead the change from the very front, as the case might be. Yes, let us understand what is supervisor. If you look onto it, it is the top management or the organization who actually empowers the supervisor to ensure that they guide their work, they organize their work, they develop their stuff, they manage their performance, they manage the relationship towards the team member. The supervisor is the one focal person who actually implements or executes all the daily activities of the organization. So yes, this is what the supervisor skill model is all about. It about guiding the work, organizing them, developing your staff, probably managing the performances, and enhancing relationship at the same time. So now if the question is, all good upper supervisor, now there might be some impediment difficulties that a supervisor might encounter, and how to address them. Now, never ever, which I say, wear a false face, a false smile, a poker face on yourself. Never wear a cover. Don't insult people, because you never know from what angle the person is actually going through. What are the scenarios, what are the psychological impact the person might be experienced at that point of time. So better fashion would be able to relate to each other. And how do you relate? By communicating effectively. Never say that you are the most superior beings altogether, as if you are the epitome of transparency, epitome of honesty, and probably being unbiased and unjust altogether. At the end of the day, supervisors are a human being also, so everybody has their own weaknesses and strengths. So yes, admit the fact that supervisors are a human being and probably are not that perfect. So get people talking to themselves about themselves. Now, this is a point which will enable you to give, empower them, understand them, and probably build a sense of camaraderie within them, within the team, as the case might be. Did I say never be rude? Did I say never insult the body? Did I say don't have a poker face? Tell them what you know. Be transparent, because only you will, once you are being seen and as a transparent person, as a respectable gentleman or a lady, people will not be rude towards you if one of your projects, one of your decision backfires altogether. They are already in the loop as to why the decision was taken and why the decision was backfired. But in case decisions have been taken and have been successful, everybody will only have putting you in a higher pedestal altogether. So your charisma as a leader will only excel. So top 10 mistakes that I would love to deal in this presentations altogether is seizing power and probably attempting to keep and hold on to, hang on to it. Failing to ask for feedback is one more thing that needs to go around it. This is what needs to be understood. Delegating without authorizing, as in giving the responsibilities but not giving the power to work around it. For everything, every resources that needs to be consumed, it has to be referred back or it has to be approved by. So delegating without authorizing is doesn't make sense. At the end of the day, the supervisor's time will be occupied. Scolding employees in presence of others. What does it mean? It means you can scold employees. Definitely, yes. It doesn't say that you cannot scold employees. You can definitely scold employee for the just reason and in privacy. The only two conditions are the scolding should be for just reasons and in privacy. Supervising everyone the same way is also not possible because each individual are unique in them. So you need to handle people with care, with diligence, keeping the interesting work for themselves. This is one of the biggest demerit when the supervisor hog on to the limelight or the biggest project for themselves altogether. In fact, I would recommend that the supervisor should give the projects, the most demanding one, the most important one, to the people and ensure that the project is been handled carefully. The people will have a sense of satisfaction and a element of respect for the supervisor. Siding with the team members should not be doing it, because this will only build in a political divisions among your team members. So never take a side. Probably always be a neutral, distancing themselves from the supervisor. As a supervisor, people think that they are a one notch higher degree or one notch better person than the other of the employees. Absolutely a wrong notion. In fact, I have understood that the supervisor who is successful is a person who gets himself or herself assimilated to the group, thereby promoting an us versus them attitude, as in divide and rule as a person. This is should be avoided at all costs. And the last one would be involving into unmoral activities, unethical behaviors, illegal behaviors, which is prohibited by the law of the land, as the case might be. These are the 10 supervisory mistakes that comes around it. So I believe I have told you everything about supervisor. Remember, I had said about supervision in the very beginning, specific understanding of the objective, being patient and empowering your team members, rewarding them, recognizing them with the objects or value with the rewards which they value themselves. Somebody might only value a pat in the back. Somebody might be working with a dollops of incentives and so on and so forth. Always ignore the faults of your team members. In fact, I would recommend you support your team members, inspire them, motivate them, say that you have got their backs. Be open-minded, be flexible, and never take sides altogether. And that is what essentially the abbreviations of supervisions would all be about it. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.